Evening, everyone. At least I made it within my usual window, so we're starting to get back on track with the stream. But I do still want to get a little bit better at starting closer to 7. Let's take a look at the state of the stream. Okay. I am just going to ignore this warning. As long as I have transcodes, I'm basically just going to assume that Twitch is lying to me about the encoding. And let's jump into Phantom Brigade right away. So for those of you who missed last week's stream, we had a storm. So first of all, I was feeling sick. And then on top of that, there was a storm, and there was a power outage, which ended the stream, I guess, would it be within the last, I don't know, within an hour of the stream? Anyways, it feels like it was quite short. Cured, actually get to stick around a bit for today. Oh, wonderful. Is the inspection done? Either way, I am happy that you are that you're here, Cured. Seizure warning. A very small percentage of people may experience a seizure when exposed to certain visual images, including flashing lights or visual patterns. These seizures may have a variety of symptoms, including lightheadedness, altered vision, eye or face twitching, jerking or shaking of arms or legs, disorientation, confusion, or momentary loss of awareness. Immediately stop playing and consult a doctor if you experience any of these symptoms. If you or any of your relatives have a history of seizures or epilepsy, it is recommended that you consult a doctor before playing. Wasn't there another? Oh, wait, no. It's because it's not in early access anymore. You had it on Saturday. All went well. One manager got told off for not complimenting staff enough. Oh, that's nice to hear. I mean, but obviously you never want people to be told off. But I'm glad that at least on the surface they seem to be caring about the rank and file. There was a story, I'm trying to remember the book that I read this in. I think it might have been A Beautiful Constraint, but they went through a hotel chain, and there was an effort of sort of these executive teams for all of these different companies. They were trying to model the success of this hotel chain, and one of the things that they did was they went through the whole thing, including, you know, like the laundry services and that, which, you know, again, I've never worked in a hotel, but even I know that the laundry is not the place you want to work in a hotel. And the staff just wound up being these really amazing ambassadors for the hotel brand. And then, of course, I mean, this is just the sort of thing that it's like the corporate version of, and then everyone clapped. But, like, essentially it was explained to the managers that, you know, the staff are, you know, they are the front line. They are the people who are ultimately going to be representing the company, particularly in hospitality, and that it was a structural feature of the organization to make sure that the employees felt, you know, respected and felt that their work was meaningful and valuable. So at least in that case, that seemed to do the trick. Whether or not that's going to succeed in your own workplace, I have no idea, because that is the sort of thing that is easy to say. It's kind of like when streamers are all like, oh, we're all like a family, and, you know, and then of course you'll have like someone who maybe doesn't toe the line, or, you know, there's like some kind of drama that happens on the inside. And all of a sudden someone knows exactly what it's like to be cast out of the family, or, you know, or when people suddenly start feeling like they're put under a lot of pressure to maintain their sub. It's like, you know what, this is a family, I don't want any part of it. But I don't know, it's nice if you can. I want to try and hope for the best when people tell stories like that, and because I hope that people are in workplaces that make them feel valued. Okay, let's load up. Now, there should be an autosave, yeah, before combat. I may need to double check the loadout, but overall we should be fine. So the tank ambush. This enemy convoy is transporting valuable supplies using armored cargo carriers. Ambush the convoy and stop these tanks. Neutralize or evade the escort. Okay. Looks like that's all resolved, so... Yeah. I like my work, and I have been spending extra time there, but I think there is a lot of value in keeping the two worlds separate. The convoy is approaching quickly. Prioritize the cargo units once they arrive. The guards will try to stop you. Stay focused. Okay, so what have we got here? We're deploying in the corner. This is a different map than what we had last time. We've got an enemy. Now, this is a cannon, so it, at least historically, hasn't done that much damage. We have got a tank with an autocannon. We've got another... So this would definitely be a unit I want to worry about. 392. Actually, you know what? The cannon does seem to have some meaningful damage here. So if I say 392 is something to worry about, 318 is also something I should be worried about. And a shotgun tank, so I'm not too worried about those. Now, my ideal would be to let the sniper take care of this unit. Whether or not I can actually pull that off is a whole other question. They'll certainly be in the right spot for it. So I was hoping that I could, you know, I could start with something a little more nasty, but so be it. Okay, so they're going to be focusing down this unit. I think that means that I go after these two then. And I want to get right into the thick of it with the shotgunner, so... We can save ourselves some trouble and just not jump onto the building. Okay. It's mostly a movement turn here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do a third one in a row. Holy crap, I was not expecting that. All right. Yeah, don't get hit by that. And looks like we did not hit a single target there. Okay, now this is interesting. So they're switching to the sidearm, which is... What on earth is that targeting? Okay, it's going after the shotgunner. I think I can live with that. Okay, so I don't like the fact that I'm being targeted here, so that is going to mean that this unit holds back a bit, but that shouldn't stop me from taking a shot. I don't even know if I really want to worry about the... I mean, I'll put the shield up because I can, but I don't really know if I want to worry all that much. So let's try... I still want to focus on this unit, although it's a shame... It's a shame I was so eager to close the distance. This unit... Okay, now the funny thing is, if I move to the side... No, maybe not. This is going to put me in a bit of an awkward position, but... Ooh, yeah. A little more awkward than I want. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to get away with this. So we jump onto the building, far away. It's not my best. It's not my best range, but I think it's enough for me to do the job that I want. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to stay with... Yes, I'm going to stay behind cover with this unit. The thing to remember is these are the real targets that we want. What I'm trying to do right now is just soften up the enemy. I think what we can do here... So once this unit's cleared, we can kind of do whatever. Okay, I am going to get overheated, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't exactly want to ignore the missiles, but there wasn't a whole lot that I can do with this unit in particular, so... We haven't gotten a single sniper shot. Oswin, very good to see you. We are going to be panning the camera momentarily. Okay, that was a fun round. So if you want to see at full speed. Hello, Ellen Ripley. Have you not seen Phantom Brigade before? This game is awesome. But folks, I will just take a quick second here and shout out Oswin Meow. Oh, can I just confirm that people have transcodes? Because I'm noticing that Twitch has not stopped saying that my stream is unstable. But I don't actually believe that. Oh, you are in for a good time then. This is a wonderful... So it's a turn-based tactics game by Brace Yourself Games. They are also the people responsible for Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule, in Industries of Titan, and Phantom Brigade. They're also going to be working on... Well, they're currently working on Rift of the Necrodancer, the sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer. But so this is again, it's a turn-based tactics game, so you can think of it a little bit like Frozen Synapse or Into the Breach. So the idea here is that you are given 5-second, you're basically given this 5-second view into the future. You have certain knowledge of what the enemy is going to attempt, although it's not a full-on 5-second forecast, because of course the whole point of the game is to disrupt the enemy plans. So essentially what I'm going to be doing now is setting up the turn for 5 seconds and seeing what kind of shenanigans we can get away with. So what I'm going to do with the sniper over here is I'm going to try and take out this tank. So this enemy is concussed. We're in good shape there. This unit's going to be trying to fire with its sidearm, which is a bit inconvenient because I am going to be using my shotgun on the enemy here. So what I think I'm going to do in between is I'm actually going to start focusing on the convoy. I'm going to set up my shield to deal with this particular unit. I wonder... I probably can't put that shield, yeah. All right, it's going to get a little awkward, but... Okay, so they're going to be focusing down my machine gunner. That's a pretty easy problem for me to deal with. Or it would be if I didn't bonk heads with the enemy unit. We're both lights. I think that means both of us crash. And I don't think I can dash because that overheats me. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait it out as long as I can. Alright, so I think the best I can do is just set myself up for the next turn, which means I'm going to have to try and get clever with my assault. Yeah, we're actually not really doing any damage this turn. Okay, so we're going to do the sniper shot, but I think I need to wind up in a better space overall. And thank you for letting me know, Oswin. Yeah, what I'm specifically looking for, if any of you get a chance to see, what I'm mostly interested in is if in the little cog in the bottom right-hand corner, if you have the option to change resolution. Normally when Twitch says that my connection is unstable, I lose that, but on my end I seem to have it. So I just wanted to make sure that people had the option. Because if not, it's easy for me to reset the stream. I just want to avoid doing that when Twitch is not necessarily giving me accurate information. All right, we're gonna watch that again. Okay, so yeah, we want it on repeat. So, Ellen Ripley, it may interest you to know, in this game, this is a non-deterministic physics system, which means, essentially, even for these replays, in principle, it should be random. What happens is this game will actually take sort of small recordings as you play to sort of ensure that the actions... the actions play out kind of as you saw the turn, but like everything in this game is destructible. Everything that you are seeing right now is simulated using the data oriented technology stack for Unity, DOTS. But yeah, so essentially all of these things that you're seeing in terms of the bullets moving and such, all of the destruction is being simulated in the game, which makes for some fun moments. Somebody pointed out in a previous session that there was actually a missile that... so there was one that was shot out of the air, but there was another one that actually went between my mech's legs, which I didn't notice. It actually took someone... I think the one that I didn't notice was the the shoot out of the air. I feel like there was a point where I had this like, there's no way that this should have worked if only for the fact that everything's simulated. But anyways, let's go to the planning phase. So the one problem right now is with dealing with the enemy units, I have left myself in a tough spot in terms of just delivering on the objective. So I'm going to take the shot on the convoy, and I'm actually okay with them crashing into me if it comes to that. Okay, this tank wants to fire on my... Alright, so this is kind of a waste of a machine gun, but they want to fire on the unit with the assault rifle, so we can at least clear out another enemy. And I'm going to run on the assumption that these tanks are not actually going to make it through my ally. Okay. So we got to get this sniper. Essentially, I want to move the sniper into a position where it can really do some damage on these tanks. So let's jump onto the hill. Now this thing's disrespecting me, so we're just going to take a minute to fire a sniper shot at them. And then we're going to try and run into a position where we can inconvenience the enemy convoy. Buildings are a problem, though. Well, the tutorial's not bad for this, but what I'll do is next round I will explain exactly how the setup works. I will confess it is fun to watch the plans play. There's kind of two parts to this game. So there's the whole planning part, right? There's trying to work out your 5 seconds and how you want to spend them. But the real payoff is for all of that effort that you put in. The fun is that you get to see the whole thing pay off. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the machine gun work first, and then we're going to go and watch the magic happen with the shotgun in the background, and then move up to get a closer view once we're done. And I actually like explaining the game, so... Still around. I know we're not missing out on some of the action. We'll watch it in replay, but I kind of want to watch this one go. So that took out the treads. That's not... we're not at the end there, but... So this thing's still alive. We've successfully crashed 3 of the convoy. They're not completely disabled, though. So the reason why I moved this unit to where it is precisely so we can try and get a shot off on that, that convoy unit. So we can see how the rest of it turned out in the replay. So interestingly enough, this thing doesn't seem to have been taken out as a result of the machine gun. I wasn't quite expecting that. This one will be less of a threat just because it's got an autocannon, which is a short range weapon, so it's not going to be able to move for the rest of the time. This was sort of the hero mech of the turn. We essentially wanted it to smack into as many units as possible and take it out. We also got to do a little bit of spare damage with the unit with the assault rifle, but essentially we're going to have to clean up this one that got away. And then the nice thing is you'll notice that we've more or less disabled the convoy in this nice little kill zone. So what we basically just need to do is make sure that the units are in a position to take advantage of this, because we've got one enemy mech with enemy tank. It's elevated, but it's only got an autocannon, so it's going to take a while to actually reach us. But anyways, planning will only take you so far. So I wonder, yeah, so this doesn't really work for me. What I'm going to do as a second... Oh. Okay, so if I just try to shoot this thing... Oh my goodness, this is a name I'm always happy to see. Olaf, I'm very, very happy to see you again. I was wondering if I should reach out, because it felt like it was a little while since I said hi, but I also know that that can sometimes be a little unwelcome. But Olaf, thank you very much. I hope you have been well. If nothing else, I hope you've been entertained in the last little while. I know my hours have really not been good for your time zone, so I appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, because I feel like you're one of the people who I feel like I should tell about the new job and all of that. And I don't think I've actually said, hey, it all turned out. I'm happy. So anyways, thank you for your 44 months of subscribing. I hope you enjoy your time here and your use of the emotes. As I said, I hope you are well, and I am looking forward to catching up with you at some point. All right. I think I'm going to pull back the unit with the assault rifle just so that I can have a little insurance on the tank. Yeah, we're going to stay put because looks like we're going to want to take out a... Actually, I think we're just going to be... I think our job is a pretty straightforward one. I think we just continue to do the whole block. Oh dear. Okay, I'm glad you're okay. I know those trips cannot be fun for you. Yes, there's quite a few VODs. I'm just trying to think what is... So we beat Book of Hours. I think that might be... I don't know if that's something that you were interested in, but I know that was a big milestone. And of course it is a game that takes place on in your homeland. So I think that's one to look forward to. Job stuff. I'm at a cool job which I like quite a bit. Lots of shout outs of Oswin Meow and Vesper Fortune and Dendrian Sylphea. I don't know, there's lots. I feel like I'm gonna probably make people feel not so good for being left out if I go any further, just because I'm not the best. I'm not the best. Don't have the best recollection, but I hope they are worth your time. All right. I don't even know. You know, I said, Ellen Ripley, I was going to explain the turn, and then I didn't do that. Let's see if we can do that next time. But this one is honestly a little bit of a Charlie Foxtrot, so I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. Okay, I'm glad we did a second shot. Okay, we got one with the salvage. Two. Three targets neutralized. I think we just need to run at this point. You've intercepted the first target. We're seeing some spilled cargo on our sensors. Every unit in the convoy has passed the checkpoint. No one else is coming. Let's finish them off. Oh, okay. So we get to see how much stuff we steal. Okay, that's fun. Hang on. We wound up concussed, and I wasn't even paying attention, so let's see what happened here. Shots from behind. Alright, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that in future. Is the UK really that bad? Okay, so it looks like we only get 2 shots. I think probably my best bet here is just to let her rip on the closest available target. And see what happens. But yeah, being down this mech actually creates quite a bit of difficulties. Fair enough. I keep saying that I'm going to explain the turn, and then I go crashing into the next one because I've been reading chat. Okay, we're still short on taking out one of the vehicles. Honestly, this is pure greed at this point. I just want to see how much I can get. Especially seeing as we're going to be replacing the legs for the protector. So Tango made it. A fair number of targets down. We're tracking a lot of cargo on the scene. Keep up the good work, Commander. Okay, so this is going to get a bit awkward seeing as Kilo's now being threatened. My normal reaction would be to use the sniper to take out the shotgunner. The problem here is that the sniper doesn't really have the range to do its work anymore. In fact, we're either going to need to run in with the sidearm, or we're going to need to completely reposition this unit. No, that's not true. There's another batch of the convoy coming in. But I'm going to have to make some hard choices here, right? Because I've got... Oh, hang on. I might be able to do something here. Okay, so the main problem that I'm going to be running into is how do I make the most of my 3 units now to make sure that we're able to achieve all of our objectives. So the one thing I am going to want to do is clear out the shotgun unit. That's a direct threat to one of my big playmakers. So what I'm going to do here is we'll stand and deliver. And I'm going to move to a better position to be able to take out this unit. And I'm kind of putting my life in my own hands doing this, because this unit is going to want to take me out while I'm attacking it. So I'm also going to move in closer. Okay. Now, so essentially the idea here is that I am trying to mitigate the shotgun damage with my assault rifle. Now, I fancy my chances. I have 322 damage, which is going to be split among 4 components, which have, you know, the largest amount is 179. But the thing is, I don't know where any of these are going to hit, so I am going to go after it twice just to make sure the thing isn't just crashing, but it's dead. Now, the sniper does a pretty significant amount of damage at long range. Now, if I do it this way, it's going to shoot the side of the building, but if I move it up like so, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to keep... I want the earliest shot that I can that's going to hit. But when I take a shot, there's also going to be heat generated, which means that I need to take some time before I'm going to be able to do a second shot. Now, I do believe the game when it says that this unit is going to crash, but I like the insurance policy. And I do have a little bit of time before this last wave is coming in, so I think we are pretty confident we're going to be able to take this one out. Pretty sure this one's going to be down. So now the question is, what do I do with my machine gunner? Now, I don't really have the range to make anything work here. Looks like this unit... Actually, this unit's got better range than I thought. But the thing is, right now, where this unit is standing, it's just not that effective. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move up. Oh, I can't believe I got away with that. And I'm going to cross over into the next turn firing this machine gun at this unit, because this second unit is going to be in position to catch up on the second one. So part of this game is not just planning out your immediate turn, but also planning positioning yourself for the follow-up turn as well. And my heavy unit is taking a nap. I'm happy with that. All right, let's see the magic happen. If anybody has any questions, by the way, feel free to speak up. I do like explaining this game. Missed one. Oh, looks like the pilot ejected on that. Sorry, I know some of these pans are kind of tough to see. I can't believe we didn't get that last tread. So again, if you want to see the thing in all its glory, so here's how I think this next turn is going to go. So again, I want to take advantage of the long range of the sniper, and we do have some units that are kind of coming into that kill zone again. So I'm going to focus on this one first. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a second shot. Now, it's entirely possible that we're going to be able to wipe this unit out, but I don't want to leave that to chance. So we are going to get a second shot in there. However, this unit is wide open, and in fact, it will be ending its turn in this box. So my preference would have been to... Actually, I'm going to have to do this. Oh, that doesn't work either, though. I really don't have that good of a target here, so we're going to move... good lord. I'm going to do my best, is what I'm going to do. And you know what? I'm going to take some heat damage. No, I don't need to take heat damage, but... But yeah, we have a pretty significant number of units running through. And this is the last shot that this sniper is going to be able to take in its current position. So I'm gonna no, you know what? I'm gonna be able to take out that one, so we're gonna stay put. It's a lot harder with a unit down. There we go. So the next question is going to be whether or not this one survives. Oh, that was good. Nice. So it's going to be overkill with the machine gun here, sadly, but... Okay, so we're going to prep for this shot, I think. Oh, this is a good song. It's also kind of neat that this unit's chasing down the machine gunner here. So what I'm going to do... There's no benefit to me firing this weapon here, so I'm just going to move off to the side like so. So this thing's pretty fresh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the machine gunner. We're going to focus that one down. So it says there's 3 targets on the field right now. So we've got one that we're focusing pretty hard on. This unit... So that's 2 sets of attacks with the sniper. So that should mean that we have this one left at the end of the round. This music's making you crochet faster. Okay, so I didn't want to do this one in slow motion, but this is a really good one for the music. So I am going to do it slow motion just so we can extend the period that the intense music goes up. Missed. Actually, everybody missed. By the way, I think I mentioned Oswin Meow, but I didn't properly do the shout out. Oswin has been back to Disco Elysium, which dialogue-wise I can only describe as all bangers all the time. It has been an absolute delight to watch Oswin play the game, and I highly recommend, if you have not already, please do follow her channel, because it is a lot of fun to watch her play that. More targets down. You've picked this convoy clean, Commander. Sorry, most targets down. So I wonder if they're going to want me to escape. I think we should just try and go for the full... I think we should just try and go for the full run. Now this autocannon was the one that silenced my my teammate, so I don't want to get too cute with the moves. Okay, so we waited out for the first shot. Run over to the edge here. Try and mop up the second unit. Oh, that times out really well, actually. All right, let's see if we can deliver the last 2. Let's also make sure that my units are in reasonably good health. Tango's looking a little rough on the health, but Yeah! There's no one to protect remaining on the field. No point dragging this out. Let's get out of here. Okay, so I think that one actually got away. Yeah, target's lost one. That's a bit of a shame, because I think if we extended that just a little bit longer, we would have been fine. But looks like they actually want to take this to the bitter end, so we will oblige them. Okay, I'm not crazy about this strategy because I think it's going to involve a lot of shots to the back for this unit, but I don't have a lot of other options. And I am going to stay put for a minute. Yeah, I got concussed. Didn't it fire at all? Huh. So this has actually turned out to be a really costly mission for me. We're down 2 pilots. Okay, well, we stick with the plan. What have we got here? Oh yes, then this unit's still kicking around. So I'm actually going to need to walk over there for that one. Still, this should be pretty straightforward. This is just a cleanup job. No targets remain on the field. Mission concluded. All right, so if I want to keep using the same pilots over, I am going to need to be very gentle with them. So we wound up with a whole bunch of cool stuff. Getting my protector legs back. Let's take the intact parts and anything with color. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start giving some things up. So the spark I think is fair to lose. Yeah, we're good for the rest of this. 25 of that is me repairing my existing mechs. So I think we're going to need to spend some time away. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have actually put ourselves in a bit of a tough spot. So I'm going to run to the edge of their sensor. Okay. Now we're going to go to stealth. So once we go back to cruise, there we go. We're out of their range. For now, at least. We're still working on the liquid fix, and honestly, the time that it takes isn't that isn't like a major hardship, just because it's going to give my people time to sort of rest up. But we do also want to liberate the province. So, defended, your recon detects movement in the area. Be prepared to take the place by force if you want anything out of there. Suit up. Break-in, ambush a guarded structure and capture it before reinforcements are called. Press the advantage and overcome the challenge for a high payoff. 2 on-site contacts. I don't think I've done a break-in mission yet. Okay, so it says Kilo's at full health, Sierra is at 65, lightly injured, Foxtrot's more or less at full health, and Tango's shaken up. So I am a little worried about deploying Lars Jacobson again just because of the... like, they were properly concussed, and they're not really at full health. But I'm going to do my best, and I'm just going to keep a closer eye on things moving forward. We are, however, going to adjust some of our mechs. So we have the burst rifle. Now, the Astra has never really set me on fire. Well, okay, actually it has a high heat generation, so technically it does. I'm going to resist the urge to upgrade the assault rifle. The Elbrus torso. Okay, so we've got the Hakobu light torso. It is unfortunately heavier, but that's probably because of the light plate. Although we wouldn't be able to switch that out, so... So I suppose now the question is, do I... Well, there's also the amplified reactor, so if we... So it's 21 as is. 26. I kind of feel like I can live with that. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my good old Elbrus. This is a big improvement, though. Okay, so here's something I'm kind of curious about. As I add more weight, we're sort of maxed out at that 28 speed. So what I wonder now is there a way that I can play with these numbers to... Yeah, 27's not bad. And especially if I can find something to replace this reach thruster. Okay. The Helios. So I can't see myself replacing the machine gun here. The one shot as a sidearm. It's a little more damage. Better. Yeah, you know what? We'll go for it. Expanded magazine. Let's do a large payload. Okay, so this seems to be an improvement, save for the engine. So this thing's rocking a takeoff versus a hot rod. Okay, that works for me. Okay, the needle, really, we kind of already have what we need for this thing. It's just a matter of... So if I give this thing hollow plate, I can move it faster. This one's really all about mobility, so even if it means that I wind up putting a weaker arm on it, I think I'm going to do it. This is the left arm, so I don't lose much if it does have to go. which leaves me with the Protector. So I don't think we have a better shotgun for it, although I might wonder if I have a more powerful weapon. No. Svalin I'm going to keep. Can't see myself switching out the main torso here. Alright, arms. So this is the shield arm. We don't actually need that much in terms of protection. This arm is a different story. This one we actually want kind of beefy. I guess we're getting a little mobility back. I don't know if I'm quite ready to scrap all of the parts yet. Let's see how this squad runs. But I'm feeling okay with where the numbers are. And again, I'm sorry for my scatterbrainness, Oswin. There is the proper shout-out command. And here they are. Great timing. Our big bird is about to do another pass. They'll send back up our way, so don't panic and hold out for a minute. Okay, so eliminate the guards, cache entrance, move your mech to the cache entrance to secure it, and we have the option of retreat available, but who wants to do that? We have got 4 enemy units on the field, so one with a missile launcher, and it's probably one that does a lot of well, 175 is not so bad. Autocannon, which will do 289. Another autocannon, presumably same amount, and another missile launcher. Interesting. This one actually does do a pretty concerning amount of damage. So, but the good news is this is for the unit that's built to run. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to have them run interference for a bit. I wonder if I can get away with a shot. I can get away with one shot. But yeah, so we'll take a quick shot at the unit with the autocannon. I'm okay having the Protector sort of lumber along, well, preferably without colliding with my ally. I'm okay with them just sort of being menacing for a bit and closing the distance. I mean, maybe we'll get them to... take the zone when it comes to it. For the sniper, it's really a question of just getting in position. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have enough with my jets to get me where I really want to be. This might do the trick. Not exactly the way that I want it, but we take the shot. And then I think I'm going to try and get some shots on the enemy mechs and just kind of leave my allies to deal with the bad guys. Okay, so last step is getting the machine gunner in play. Now that one might be easier than it seems. Okay, so the problem with this is that I'm not using them this turn, but the good news is I'm going to just be able to deliver a machine gun straight into the missile launcher next turn. So the reason why I'm jumping around with the with my assault with the longbow is that jumping should make the missiles lose their tracking. So not only am I moving myself into a position that I can sort of do some damage with the enemy on, but it should render their missiles. Well, it should at least blunt them. I don't know if it'll completely handle the problem, but if nothing else, we also get to see a little bit of a show of everybody jumping out of the the pit, so... This one should be firing in a little bit. So that's the indicator that they're being pushed off course. Alright, so the one drawback here is that it doesn't really seem like we did enough damage to the tanks. Well, okay, so we got some nice damage in the center. I can actually see this I can see this delivering some hurt. Alright, so my best option here... We'll just dash to avoid the missiles. Now, I was a little worried that... Yeah. This unit would be in danger, but... This unit takes long enough to move where it needs to go. It's possible this will get taken out by my ally, incidentally. Actually, I wonder if I can get away... Nah, you know what? I prefer the idea of dashing forward. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack this entirely on its right-hand side so that I can potentially take out its weapon. Trying to get a read on who's actually being attacked by this thing. Okay, so this unit should be in play now. I'm going to take the opportunity to get a couple of shots on the bad guys. Particularly in the back, because if we can concuss them, so much the better. I would like to move in close and take the objective, but we need to clear out the bad guys a little bit more first. As you can see, all the missiles are misdirected. Shoot, damn it. Not really doing enough to merit sort of what I tried here. I mean, we're close. We're at 111. Oh god, that is so close to taking out that I think we hold the line. Okay, that pilot's concussed, so I'm going to try and be sneaky. I don't even really have that good of a shot. Actually, you know what? Okay, so they're ejecting here. Yeah, so the last thing we need to worry about, you know what? I'm blocked. Yeah, we'll get it on the back end. So yeah, really the last of this is this unit down below here. Now, I do have the small worry in the fact that I'm, you know what, I'm going to throw up the shield. It does look like I'm still targeted by a missile. So on the odd miracle that that thing hasn't landed on me yet, we'll get in position. But maybe what I can try and do is get my sniper with an attack of opportunity. Okay, so the real magic's going to happen on this turn. Or on this... Okay, beautiful. The arms down. There's some box art for you. Look at this game. I'm hoping I don't kill my scrap doing this. I was planning on... Yeah, alright. Let's see if this hero delivers. You're walking home. Okay. So this unit's going to eject at some point. This unit's going to try and attack my shielded unit, so what I'm going to do here is just move back And put my shield up. We get to try another run. Actually, we got to move back and then try another run. Oh my god. I mean, the odds could be better. Oh, you know what? I don't even think we're capturing the spot. I suppose if we really need, we can do another round against this thing, but... yeah, there we go. So a little sloppy in terms of just finishing the job, but nobody got concussed. We didn't take too much damage. We should have a nice batch of scrap to take home with us. Okay, a lot of heavies. That stance might be an improvement, but I'm gonna scrap. At this point, the scrap is the priority. Our heart and soul. Someone plops a large crate onto the table in front of you. Slowly you look up and take in the proud face of one of the townsmen. He beams at you, his mustache twirling in glee. We don't have much to give you, Brigade, but this is the heart and soul of our town. He gestures to the alcohol in the crate. We make it all locally, right down to the glass and labels. You did us an enormous favor, so it's only right that you get to take some of our heart and soul with you. The townsman preens, and one of your pilots whistles at the offering. Please enjoy, and come back to visit again sometime. We will save this for later. There will be better occasions. Okay, now that's interesting. It doesn't seem like the... okay, there we go. So we need to locate... oh, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting there to be a cache. Okay. I'm actually gonna run off for a minute. It also lets us take a different approach. So this is a security unit, right? So if I can go after the escort squad or the outpost, that saves me some trouble, but I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, looks like I need to... I didn't realize we were fully contested. Anyways, we should be fine. I just need to... there we go. Equipment modifiers. Your mechanics return with an evaluation of the abandoned equipment they found. The internal modifications were fused into the part and can't be removed. As equipment is modified and improved, its quality and performance will usually increase. The mechanic suggests taking a closer look to see how the modifier changes this equipment's stats. Who knows what other secrets are hidden around the country? Your crew suggests surveying the province more carefully when there's time. Okay, we definitely don't want stealth, although I should probably be able to get some upgrades in. So experimental assembly is always a tempting one, but it costs 2,000 supplies, and I found that in general, I didn't actually use it as much as I thought I would. So, repair is kind of nice. I just kind of want to see what I've got. Unlocked react. You know what? I like the idea of the unlocked reactor. I can improve the cruise speed, but more detectable. I don't know. I think we'll keep it as is. I don't need to have a maxed out base in the first province, or second province. So it does look like we're slowly losing Home Guard strength, even though the province... Well, okay, the province might be in a special status. Okay, so we are contested. So hopefully this will recharge by the time we're ready to go to stealth. Once we get the to the edge of the sensor. Okay, I want to be a little careful about this because it does look like there are some reinforcements. Run! Pin drop. The base is tense and quiet. You can hear the rat-a-tat of guns in the distance, and smoke is thick just ahead of you. One of your pilots tries to break the tension with a joke, but there is only nervous laughter in response. As you get closer to the fight, you see burning mechs. They are too damaged to tell what side they might have belonged to. You all turn your eyes away. The Home Guard sent out a distress signal, an engineer says. Are we going to answer it? Suit up. Now we're about halfway through the normal stream time. I am feeling a little tired. I am going to go for the full duration, but I think what I could use is a small break. So I'm going to try and keep it just a few minutes. But in this case here, I'm just going to sort of refill my water and otherwise get everything sort of taken care of. I encourage you to maybe take a small break yourself, get up, have a stretch, have a glass of water, do whatever it is that needs doing. I will run ads for a little bit just so anybody who stops by for the rest of the stream will be able to see, or sorry, will not be hit by the pre-roll. Sorry, 1 second here. Interesting. So I'm getting conflicting messages from Steam on the from Twitch on the state of the stream. Anyways, I'm going to take a couple minutes for myself. We'll be back for more Phantom Brigade after this break and a word from our sponsors. Okay, sorry about the wait there. Still trying to find out what's going on with the info Twitch is giving me, but it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody, so... demolition. Leave a heavily defended military base in ruins. The window of opportunity is short. Focus on damaging structures and avoid enemy units. The mobile base will retreat once reinforcements arrive. Okay. There is an argument to be made that I should not be bringing my my current squad. Impact damage is going to be the thing that matters the most here, but I'm going to stick with the plan. Okay, there's not a whole lot for us to do with the longbow. Let's try the Helios. We never did get to try the missiles, so... I can't see myself switching... Yeah. I mean, if I want, there's my, there's my faster movement. But I give up the heat capacity. I don't know, maybe we can still make that work, though? Let's try with the Elbrus and see what happens. So that'll mean there's another turn where I avoid scrapping. I don't think I'm ready to put a heavy on this thing yet. Like, I want to, but... yeah, we're just gonna leave everything as is. So I am kind of curious to see how this works. We have limited time. The enemy reinforcements are already en route. Destroy as much as you can. Okay, so honestly, this is a no-brainer as far as my missile is concerned. So yeah, I mean, I figured target some choice buildings and then call it a day there. I don't want to get too reckless. Oh, actually, it looks like they're going to do the job for me over here. So, like what I'll do with a couple of the other ones, I figure I can take some shots at enemy units as they kind of come in to try and defend the area. I think it's going to hit the side of the mountain. It's going to just back up a little bit further and... how's this thing's impact? Pretty devastating. Okay. So I have some ideas there. here. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I do still want to actually take on enemy units. So can I get a... Okay, apparently I can get another one in the middle. We'll see how this goes, because I really don't know what it'll count in what will count in terms of damage. So, but I am going to want to clear out this turret before too long. That didn't seem to do anything. Okay, I mean, I'm not crazy about the kind of damage we're doing here, to be completely honest. This is using its assault right. I mean, this thing's almost down, so let's I think in this case I'm going to rely on the sniper to try and take out these towers. No, that doesn't really work for me. Let's take out the tank. So I don't really think I can do anything to protect myself. Well, let's see. Okay, so if I just walk up like this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be targeted there. So how about, as an alternative, throw up the shield. And then we just have a merry old time shooting the walls. Actually, you know what? Let's direct that to the tower a second time. Now, I don't really seem to have much of an option in terms of defending myself, so I might as well just, you know, take on the enemy head on. I'm going to move around the edge. So, I mean, again, the aim here is just to wreck the base as much as possible, so this does mean that I'm going to give up some attacks on the enemy units, but I think for the most part I'm happy with how I'm making that work. Although, let's pause here. So it does look like they're trying to shoot something after me, so we will dash away in the last minute. Okay, I am kind of curious how this turn turns out, because it's possible that this is going to turn tragic. Took out their legs. That thing's down, which is good. And whatever missile they were threatening me with doesn't seem to be present, so... Okay, so I'm going to take a different approach here. This unit's still crashing. I'm going to take my shotgun and deliver the coup de grace on the... Okay. You know what? That's silly. Now, as a second best, I'm going to start lobbing missiles at these turrets. So these things do... Actually, they do not do a lot of damage. So I think that's going to have to be it. I think, given the machine gun's damage, I think I'm probably going to want to move into the... I'm probably going to want to actually move into the area, the base, and start actually firing on... Good God, okay. It's not ideal, but honestly I don't have any other way of making this work, so... And it looks like there's more reinforcements, so I can't really waste too much time. That's fine, because I've got my assault unit, which is going to just kind of run in and cause all sorts of trouble, but again, I feel like I should be doing quite a bit more damage to this than I actually am, and that is a bit of a worry for me. Okay, so that's not the smartest move I've ever made. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stay put. I'm just going to take pot shots at whatever things I can ding. And we'll worry about this next turn. So we only have 6 more turns of this, which seems like a lot right up until you actually have to start delivering things. Looking great. Keep hitting their structures. It'll take them a while to repair this damage. Okay, so this thing's still standing. Not my favorite feature. Okay, if this is crashing, then I'm gonna get the sniper to do... Yeah, the sniper actually doesn't do any damage to structures. So I should build my turn around that, and these folks should be coming in and tearing up the base. Okay, so this assault rifle is going to want to take on my mech. I think in this case I'm actually going to try and take out the turret. And I don't think I get... Yeah, I can't get away with a third attack. Okay, so here's going to be my second best. I'm going to hold back like so, and then I'm just going to use... I'll keep doing the missiles, but I do need to actually start bringing the machine gun into play. That was fun. Completely unintentional and very damaging to the Helios, but... Okay. Surely at this point. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take one shot here. And then I'm going to focus on this turret. And I figure what I'll do here is we'll go one on the enemy unit, one on the enemy structure. That can't be good. Okay, so if we're doing some damage... It doesn't look like we've done any damage to the side here, to be completely candid. I think I'm just going to have to walk around the edge. This feels very dangerous, but... We'll just point the shotgun where we can and try and make something of the day. Well, at least we didn't hit our own guy. High standards for the Phantom Brigade, as you can see. And apparently we didn't land a shot, but this thing has got 1 billion lives. I'm actually going to hit this twice, even though it's going to set me on fire. I'm going to run ahead and then dash, because I'm going to have some missiles coming to hurt me. And then whatever I've got left of the turn is going to be spent shooting walls that I don't think I can access any other way. Okay, that's going to be a fun turn for the assault unit. And similar story for the shotgunner. Like, at this point, it really is just about running through and damaging as many hard-to-reach places as I can. Even if it means I overheat a little bit. Now, let's say... Say we focus on this building. This is no good. Clearly I wasn't paying attention to the threat to the assault rifle. This is not doing any damage to the building that I want. This is so upsetting. I can't really afford that many more turns of bungled attacks like this. We're really only doing tier 2 at this point. That's a really beautiful shot, though. Bedtime for you. Thank you very much for stopping by, Oswin. Again, for those of you who haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend Oswin Meow's channel. I've had a lot of fun hanging out there, and I know a lot of you know I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of Twitch. But thank you for hanging out, and I hope you have a lovely evening. I will confess, the destruction missions, even though I'm getting a little frustrated with what I can actually attack, they are a feast for the eyes. Alright, so I have 2 turns, and it looks like the best we can hope for is a tier 2 at this point, but... we'll put a brave face on it. And let's respect the game when it says... it's blocked. Oh, hang on, this is the sniper rifle. So you can stay right there. Okay, so the machine gun, I can try again with where I'm at. I can't really see there being a better alternative at this point, other than maybe firing the missile, but... Okay, so I'm thinking a tactical dash wouldn't hurt. Even if it means I can't fire the gun until much later in the turn. So our chief damage dealer, it seems, has to be the assault mech. But you know what? They are up to the job, it looks like. Alright, let's see how it goes. Alright, at least that seems to be doing some damage to the buildings. So the dash may have been unnecessary, but better safe than sorry, particularly with a pilot that's already been concussed. No! Okay, it did hit. Where are the reinforcements? They're wrecking the site. There'll be nothing left by the time you arrive. Oh my god. One turn to just unleash hell. The reinforcements are moments away. Whatever you have planned, wrap it up quickly. We're leaving. Okay, what I should do... This is all fire. I was going to find the nicest target that I can. This is a very deliberate effort to bury my way through this building and attack this one. Again, for the rest of the brigade, it really is just a question of how do I just shoot my way into like a maximum damage number without overheating my team too badly. Like I don't want to lose a unit off of my actions. I'm willing to push them to the edge. I'm willing to test some limits, but I'm not gonna lose the team for this last turn. Okay, now the sniper can't actually damage buildings, but the sidearm can. This suits me just fine, actually. We might actually have to run out as well, so I don't want to get too clever with it. But all right, let's see how the overheat turns out. I can't imagine that I will do twice, or that I'll do like or over half of the required amount in one turn. But we'll see how the turn shapes up. We will do our best to hit that number, let's say. Oh, that is upsetting. They're doing nothing to the side of that building. Actually didn't do that much to that building either. Now this I wasn't counting on. That was a good one though. This might actually also pay off as well if it doesn't have a more clear destination. That's a thing of beauty. I wonder if that'll count. Site's compromised. Let air support deal with this demolition crew. We're out. Ground forces retreat. Oh, it doesn't say how much we did at the end. That's I don't know. It'll be fun to watch watch all hell break loose though. Yeah, that's a little bit of a shame that you don't get the final tally in terms of how you did, because like obviously we tried to shoot through this building, or sorry, this building, and we did succeed. This was pretty respectable. Didn't wind up doing that much damage to this one. I mean, again, the assault rifle's not really designed to break buildings. Anyways. That's respectable. I mean, maybe I should take the Typhoon. I think honestly at this point we'll just scrap everything. I can't see myself keeping these. But that was fun. So we're definitely going to want to go to cruise for a little bit. So the aim right now, given where, given where everything is, the Home Guard has reasonable strength. We need a lot in terms of repairs. So we're going to move around the edge towards the town and then the farm. Actually, we could probably make a move on the base, which presumably is going to be worth more. So escalation increased by 20, enemy strength by 25. Well, you know what? Honestly, enemy strength by 24. I think we can go town and base then. Anything that lets me repair the units, to be completely honest. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do with our units. So overall that loadout worked for me. So what I'm going to do here is lock a few more things in. Actually, it did just occur to me we didn't really get any more new gear, so we can just go straight to the inventory. So I'm not going to use the Astra. I might... No, we're not going to use the Impact. Can't see myself doing too much... I'll hang on to the Sunswarm even though I feel like I shouldn't. Okay, here we go. Primary weapon. So yeah, we're not using the Astra. Not going to use the cannon. The Hydra, to be completely honest with you, doesn't impress me in terms of its damage. Splits shortly after launch, releasing a swarm of missiles, independently selecting targets. I mean, it's cool, but... Starburst does more damage, which is probably my main concern. Weapon modules, I still need to figure out what I'm doing there. I really don't know if I want to be hanging on to either of these, but because I don't know, I will resist the urge to get rid of them. And I think I made my choice, so gonna clear all of those and clear all of these. So we got a lot of subsystems. Let's say I'm probably not going to use basic and composite and reinforced plate. Or at the very least, if I do, I will know, and then I will specifically build or select it. I can't see myself using the boosters. There's probably more that I can scrap, but I'm content with this for now. Now, I do have a little bit of a dilemma, because as far as the workshop is concerned, well, you know what? We actually don't have that much in terms of blueprints, so maybe it isn't a dilemma. Expanded reactor, yes. Okay. I'm pretty happy with where those go. So we're going to do the same approach with the town that we've done with everyone else. Just wait till we're at the edge of detection, then we go stealth. And then when it comes time to... Oh, that's our first battle site. Okay, then we close the distance with an overdrive. Pin drop. The base is tense and quiet. You hear the rat-a-tat of guns in the distance, and smoke is thick just ahead of you. One of your pilots tries to break the tension with a joke, but there is only nervous laughter in response. As you get closer to the fight, you see burning mechs. They are too damaged to tell which side they might have belonged to. You all turn your eyes away. The home guard sent out a distress signal, and an engineer says, "Are we going to answer it?" Suit up. Okay, liberation. Take on the enemy while minimizing damage. Avoid damage to civilian structures. One on-site contact, one dropship contact. Watchtower. Garrison relies on a watchtower to detect the resistance forces, destroy it to prevent the enemy from getting reinforcements, and friendly contacts. Okay. We already decided the loadout, so we will start the combat right away. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a boss fight tonight, but I suppose we'll be in position for next time. Hello, Elgrins. Good to see you. This isn't the best place for a fight, Commander. Lead the enemy away from the buildings. The home guard should be here soon. They're bringing in direct weapons to make this easier. Okay, so the watchtower... Watchtower is a pretty straightforward goal for me here, so what I'll do is I'll just take care of it with missiles. I don't think I'll get a third, so let's just make sure. I'm not crazy about where that's hitting, so let's try that again. Yeah, that keeps it away from the civilian buildings. Okay, now because this tank is going to be... Oh boy. These are some scary ones, actually. So I was going to say this is a wonderful opportunity for the sniper, but... So if I just stay put... Okay, that doesn't work. I'd ideally like to clear these trees, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Okay, that does the trick. I think I'm going to settle for just focusing on this one, and I'm going to let the... Okay, it wasn't quite how I was planning on doing this, but you know what? It does the trick. And then just as a safety precaution, we'll put up the shield too. So what I think I'm going to do here, I'm going to move the assault rifle. Oops. We're going to wait for the slow one, and then we're going to move the longbow up. So I don't normally like doing this, but I don't have a whole lot of other options. And then I'm just going to kind of take a Hail Mary on the other unit. So this is a lot more about positioning, but right now my focus is getting rid of the reinforcements. We have 6 turns for that, so I'm not expecting too much of a problem. Now, as far as the remaining forces, so the machine gun and the marksman are both kind of a pain to deal with. We also have a machine gun and an assault rifle, so these two will probably be causing us some trouble next turn, but I'm going to let next turn take care of itself. Get to be seen deep in the weeds looking at pre-built PCs. Your brain is turning too much trying to compare. Congratulations on your impending purchase. I hope you have a good one. I'm assuming probably it's because of the prices of graphics cards that you're buying pre-built, or do you normally buy pre-built? I will confess, I've never been crazy. Like, I understand why people like to build their own PCs, but like, I've always felt a little weird about the way that PC gamers tend to be very, very anti pre-built. Because the thing is that like, it's a little bit like hating on EA. Like, there was a certain period where it was obvious. Well, I don't think EA was ever an obvious one, but like, pre-built was like, or the building your own was obviously the way to go. And I actually think pre-built has gotten better over time. And as somebody who had to take a look at computer prices on a regular basis, I can say with the crypto mining stuff, it was actually cheaper to buy pre-built. And then everybody figured that trick out. So like, that's not news to anyone. I don't know if we're quite back to that now, but you made your last 3 machines kind of tired of it. You just want a working machine. Fair enough. And Ellen Ripley says, I built my own computer with a few years ago, and I only broke down in tears twice during the process. Like, I don't mind it. There is something kind of fun about putting all the things together. I'm definitely starting to value my time a bit more. So, like, while I am the type that does, like, still, like, install his own parts and stuff like that, I'm not entirely sure I would want to do that over again. Or at the very least, I think I would want like a better workspace, because like normally I just kind of put it really? Because like when I took a look at some of the stuff, it really didn't feel like there was that big of a difference. I guess it depends on the machine that you're building, but I remember there was a while when I was looking into this, and I was surprised at how affordable pre-built was. Like I remember with a coworker, I actually wound up recommending to them pre-built. So, and that wasn't like it's somebody else's money, screw them if they don't like it. It was both an assessment of their comfort doing something like that, but also just by virtue of the fact that like what it was going to cost them relative to what they were getting, it was equivalent in like the small fraction that they were paying less, or like they would have paid less for, would have been more than paid back in terms of like the grief of setting everything together. Yeah, fair enough. Because like the thing for me about like the whole, I mean, this isn't what people are usually talking about when they talk about pre-built, but there's a couple of computer shops in town here that like basically if you want, like, you can just buy all your parts from them, and then for a nominal fee they will just put that all together for you. So like I think for like $50 you can just get somebody else to do all that work. So to me that's kind of the ideal. Now I imagine that's not really what people are thinking of when they say pre-built. Oh, we ruined the fence. Turns out we only needed one of those. Well, actually, we didn't. We needed more than one of those. For just $50, a Terse Uni student can build your machine. Well, it's like, it's their problem then. But like, so I mean, I imagine a lot of the stuff people like about pre-built just doesn't exist in that format, simply because, like the idea of having some kind of warranty or what. Well, I don't know. Stores like that, I think, also do warranty, but I don't know. Like I can get it. Like it's some people just want to build their own machine, but my feeling is definitely I would, if I was in a position where I was buying another computer, like whole class. I just don't see a situation where I am actually going to need to buy a brand new computer. I can see myself in a situation where I'm going to try and take advantage of the enemy's proximity here. But yeah, I don't know. Like if I was in a point where I was building a computer, today, I would probably seriously consider some variation of somebody else doing the work for me. Okay, I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to get a shot off, but I'm not too choked up about it. I am, however, going to move in. Now, amazingly, nobody wants a piece of the unit with the assault rifle. So I'm going to take care of that in two ways. One, we're going to get some extra shots on the tank. And I'd ideally like to dodge the shields here, but that might be a little much to hope for. Yeah, well, see, this is the other thing too. Like what I'm imagining is affecting my perception. So there's two cases where I've looked at PC prices. So one of them is when I'm trying to make statements about PC buying overall. So at that point, what I'm really doing, like I'm doing everything down to trying to estimate what the fixed effect of being like a Lenovo Legion or Alienware or Apple or, like that is literally every characteristic being accounted for in a statistical model and being able to develop like a model of pricing that way. And like there are very, very few situations where people need to do that. And definitely anybody who's buying a computer should not be thinking about PC parts that way, because ultimately what I was trying to do was to solve a different problem with that. But when you do something like that, the fact of the matter is you want your model to reflect reality. So you have built-in tests. If you do something, like if you put together a model and you work out some sort of, price per gigahertz of a processor, or, if you have like solid state drives, I've seen models that people have done where like solid state drives will have a negative effect on the overall price. And like some people will say, it's like, okay, well, like you don't worry about collinearity if you're just worrying about fitting a price and so on and so forth. And I'm like, I'm sensitive to that. If you don't know what collinearity is, don't worry about it. We can talk about that at a separate time. But like to me, the model actually needs to be delivering the goods. And very often you can get the goods while also having something coherent that like resembles the real world. And the nice side effect of that is that if you take the time to do that, what you will find is that if something weird happens and you get some crazy coefficient for your model, or you get something that just doesn't seem to make sense, and you have put in as part of your selection criteria, hey, I want this thing to, to somewhat resemble reality, then you start noticing when stuff is breaking. And that's different if you just sort of say, all we really care about is the predicted value, so don't worry about it. It can be negative. Like, at the very least, to me, I'd want to say, it's like, well, what's it collinear with, right? I can see how, like, single core performance and multi-core performance would be collinear. But like the solid state drive, what is that supposed to be? What's the factor that it's highly correlated with that's causing that result to happen? So that's kind of the main way that I've wound up thinking about computing prices for a while. And that's obviously a very abstract way of looking at it. And that is only ever looking at pre-built computers. But then there was me trying to sort of help my coworker buy a computer. And the thing about that is that I do believe that you are looking at a few different levels of markup. So if you are trying to go for a really good gaming computer, if I was somebody who is making PCs, I kind of will recognize the fact that there are certain weird things gamers want. Like, gamers, for whatever reason, always want way more RAM than they actually need. And, they're always going to want a graphics card, usually one that actually has a very poor price to performance ratio. But, again, sometimes you just want the thing with bragging rights. And I am guilty of this, right? Like, I have overspec'd just about every single computer that every single computer that I've ever built. But the thing is like, I know my coworker wasn't looking for that. So in the end, when I was looking at the computers for him, they were perfectly capable gaming machines. Like, he wasn't going to be doing, Battlefield on all the highest settings or something like that. But, a perfectly respectable computer that plays every modern game reasonably well. I think the one problem he ran into was his solid state was too small for Starfield, and he's a big Bethesda fan. But other than that, like, it's perfectly serviceable. And that was a much more modestly priced computer than I thought it was going to be. But again, in this case, I imagine that is a pretty competitive space where the margins aren't going to be very good, because everybody wants that, right? That's going to be the majority of the buyers. Whereas if you have a gamer who, just wants the best of everything, well, then you're going to, now you've got a specialized customer. Now you can soak them for all the weird stuff that they want. Grease Hubby got a Steam Deck instead of rebuilding a PC just to play with her. Considered that as well, but I want a multi-year proof machine, so lots of money. I don't even know i7 or AMD. I know a lot of people are going AMD. I'm really unhappy with the fact that Intel screws with the I think it's their compilers, but they have kind of a cripple this because it's not an Intel machine, and I'm kind of nervous about that, which is the main reason I've been using Intel. Plus, Intel's kind of out of that point where they were really stumbling a whole lot, but the AMD stuff looks quite good. I don't know if I'd go for an i7. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not you can say, here's the thing I would want that for. And I didn't know there were 3 470s. I know they just recently released an S, but I wasn't aware that there were other ones. Anyways, it's not my problem. I've got a computer. I'm happy with my computer. It runs Phantom Brigade great. Let's watch the fireworks. Yeah, that second rocket was completely inappropriate. Yeah, well, so here's the thing for me. I am doing a lot less gaming than I thought I would. My gaming time is basically stream time. So there are definitely a few things that I'm wondering about in terms of what I've bought. I really hope that does not land on that house, but it's looking... I'll take it. Oh, that's a good one. So I mean, this is going to be tough. We've got a pair of shielded mechs that are, you know, they're on the high ground. They're going to be making life difficult for me. But I can definitely see us winning without too much damage. Hello, Woban. Ground calling off reinforcements. Not seeing any readings on our end. Heading to higher priority targets. So I don't see any reason to I don't see any reason to commit the machine gun where I'm happy enough with the sidearm. Okay, now this is going to get a little awkward with the unit with the assault rifle. I think we should be okay though. Yeah, everybody hates this guy. But that's fine, because that just opens up a possibility for the shotgunners. So we're going to wait for them to turn their back. Is there any way I can move that up a little bit, maybe? Okay. I'll live with it. Yeah, we'll just chase him down and keep hitting him in the back. There is no threat or taunt style Algrins. It's just a essentially, it's usually placement that will help you take down an enemy that's doing something you don't want. So like in this case, I just make sure that this unit's very mobile so it can get behind cover really quickly. I'm never going to be able to force them to come after the Protector, but the Protector is often the one that's out in the open, and so as a result, the enemy will take shots on them. And how you doing, Hit People Guy? I hate you. I will note, by the way, you're all talking about how the Skyline's getting broken up during a mission when my specific goal is to not have that happen. So I don't know if this is a comment on my gameplay or whatever, but just so we can be clear. That's good. Well, thank you for stopping by, Hit People Guy. I've got don't have that much time left, probably about another half hour, but I hope you enjoy your time, however long it is. You're just not doing enough damage. Hopefully we'll have somebody good to host, though. I know I can't be online at all the times that people want, but I'm hoping the best that I can do is get enough people that I follow who are interesting to make it worth sticking around. Alright, so I'm a little... Oh! I was not expecting that. I will confess, I was expecting us to do quite a bit more damage than we actually did. I'm going to move this sniper up. Can't imagine us getting a second shot in, so... So this is definitely the point where we're gonna put the effort into closing the gap as much as we can. But it does look like the focus is still on the mech with the assault rifle. My preference would be to move them from this area because, as you can see, they were actually taking some damage. You know, I'm not crazy about this, but I am actually going to dash and run around the side like this. And what I'll maybe do as a stopgap. I'm not quite ready to overheat this thing, but... This is more of a precaution, but I don't want to be the idiot that just takes a face full of machine gun. Okay, gotta wait the next turn for that. Although maybe I can get a little closer. Oh, you know what? No need. So I expect that they're going to go piling on this unit next turn, but I kind of need to get the longbow out of there. So let's see if it pays off. Little damage, nothing crazy. I'm definitely playing a lot more defensively than I was expecting, and this is against like two relatively weak enemies. But I mean, again, it's just the opportunity for me to avoid paying the liquid fix for no reason. That's nice. Blow up already. There we go. Nice. They're just putting up the shield. Please stop. So I'm just going to get people in position rather than committing to anything too savory this turn. I did more friendly fire than... Well done, Commander. The Home Guard will secure the area. Let's head back to base. And we just ruined somebody's fence. I feel a little bad about that, but it's not the reinforcements. Okay, we will grab anything with color, and then we will scrap the rest. Okay, don't have enough for that. We'll let him keep the change. Very friendly fire. One of the luxuries of liberation is the return of festivities. As your team rests near a settlement they help free, you notice a lot of activity starting up. In the town square, there are stalls selling fluffy potato pancakes slathered in lingonberry jam and steaming bowls of curry filled with dumplings. Others sell caramelized nuts and other sweet treats, and others still have handmade crafts. It's our festival of fire, the citizen declares when a pilot asks. We couldn't have it during the occupation, so now we're finally free to put it on. You can stay if you like, her partner says to you. We'll light a bonfire soon, and there are some great fire dancers performing later. Now, here's the thing. I really can't afford 7 hours. But it would really help to have... I'm going to do help light the bonfire. It's my middle option here. It's just because there's a battle going on, so I am actually going to need to cross a fair distance. This is one of these rare cases where I will actually speed things up, just because I want to try and get to the battle site before the end of the stream. Ooh, this might get interesting. They are going to chase me down and try to murder me. So this will probably be the last battle for tonight. I'm hoping we can get through it reasonably quickly. But the good news is that next week we're going to be able... Let me hang on a second. Before I say that, let me make sure that I've got my week planned out. Yes, so next week we should be able to do our next boss fight, and then the week following that I will be at the local game dev meetup. Take them out. You followed a distress signal put out by the Home Guard to squash some enemy forces at this battle site. One of your pilots is jumpy. They mean business, Commander. They really want to win this war. Another shrugs. I reckon we can take them. What do you think, boss? Suit up. Assisted, team up with allied forces and eliminate hostiles. Your team is large but inflexible, so be prepared for anything. We've got 3 on-site contacts. I also have some upgrades, so let's get that sorted out. It's pretty tempting. I'm not crazy about the loss. Well, this is a mobility one, right? Yeah, so... we could actually probably put some weight back on. Not that much, though. So if I give up the overdrive in favor of standard? Oh god, no. So if we switch that to hollow plate, no. I'm really just trying to see if I can get a little more performance out of my mechs. Yeah, okay. That's just to try and get the heat dissipation back a little bit. Gotta squeak out. Oh, sorry. Random aside. Bolt Gun has come out on Game Pass. 90 styles retro shooter in the Warhammer 40k. Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I didn't realize it was in Game Pass, so thank you for that. I'll take a look. Gotta squeak out every bit of the numbers that you can. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Bolt Gun. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that it was out. Darn it. Okay, so take out that generator, put, I guess, the hydraulics in. What the hell did I do to these numbers? No, maybe it was that. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. Okay. We'll press on. All right. This is almost certainly the one that I want. This less so, although I don't know about the heat dissipation though. We're just going to leave that as is. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. I don't know if I want to clear out the... I'll hang on to the shields. I think I am going to get rid of the lower body. And the arms. And then the next boss that we beat, I do need to remember to fancify the brigade. Can't have those plain colored mechs anymore. It just won't do. Dropping in. Command is getting impatient. Let's get this over and done with. Oh, this is some good music to finish the night with. All right, what are we up against? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemy mechs, assault rifle, machine gun, autocannon, and a marksman. Okay, so marksman is actually public enemy number 1 because that's going to cause the most disruption to my... It's going to cause the most disruption to my overall approach. Oh, that sucks. So I'm going to just lightly overheat every time I shoot this thing. So, I mean, I am putting myself at some risk doing this, right? The good news is that I'm really, really far away from the danger zone, but... Now, the AI actually made a really good call here, which was to focus down this unit. So I'm just going to let that run its course. And then next, I'm actually just going to take the time and head up the hill. Oh, actually, this works well because now we can just fire on this unit as it moves in. Okay, this turn's actually shaping up pretty well for me, I think. Yeah, honestly, we just wait for them to arrive. And then we do our thing. Nice. Not as much damage as I thought it would be. But they're concussed, so that's sufficient. Yeah, so that was a very fun turn to watch. I believe that's a stylistic choice. Although nobody's firing lasers. These are all kinetic weapons. They just happen to you know, they've got coloring so that you can distinguish sort of where the attacks are coming from. There are lasers in this game, though. Listen to that music. This is one of the reasons why Riley Koenig is on my heavy rotation part. If I know I'm gonna have like a very full day at work and I need some kind of hype music, usually this will be like the last thing that I play before I go into the building. I actually did it on the day for the interview for the job that I had. I came in, I was prepared. So. Alright, let's see what we've got here. So they are going to fire on the machine gunner. Okay, that's their focus, so ideally we will interrupt that plan. How, I'm not sure, though. Okay, actually, here's the easy answer. We use this thing for the shield. So you gotta be a little careful about when it happens, but God, that is a tight window. So what I'll do instead, like because I'm going to be hiding behind my own unit, I'm just going to take the time to lob some missiles at the bad guys. Now, we should be able to make something happen with our sniper. Not really, actually. That's a bit surprising. I really thought I'd be able to do more. Okay, well... I won't kick up a fuss about it. We have other things that we can do. I think I'm going to focus down this unit before I try to do anything else. Oh, nice. This is one where the home guard's really delivering most of the work at this point. I just need that last 72. We should have one more attack from Kilo. So, get rid of that thing, and that is the match. Oh, my apologies. There's 2 tanks. We've lost 1 unit. That is too many. Make sure that was the last casualty. Command will be hearing about this. Okay, so first thing I want to do is see who's shooting at what. So it doesn't look like any of our people are actually being targeted, so... I think the best thing for me to do would be to get in range for the tanks. I'm a little worried about that because the tank here is just like it's not in a good spot. So what I'll do instead is I'll lob some missiles at the other one. That's going to be the only shot that I can take. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with this turn. I don't know if we'll finish it this turn, but we should be able to have it within 2. We're backing them into a corner. Just a little bit more, boss. We can get to those civilians. I'm pretty sure that whole, like... How many explosions was that? Michael Bay is looking at this and saying, it's like, that's a bit much. Yeah, that was a good one to finish. I liked playing that. Okay, so as always, we pick up the colored ones. We don't have that much more left, but we do have a couple of intact that we can use for scrap. I only have 5 more, so not much else I can take out of that. But that's fine. Okay, so we saved the home guard. We're not at full capacity, but honestly, whatever it's really whatever target I want, and we should. Oh, we're only at 28. So the storage plant won't do it. Oh man, if we take out the outpost, then we're definitely on to the boss fight. For some reason, I thought that the enemy strength would be lower, but yeah, we head to the outpost next turn, and we after. So I would expect probably within the first hour of the stream, we'll be in a boss fight, and I will be wondering why I play this game, if I'm completely honest. But thank you everybody for watching. I'm really happy to be back with Phantom Brigade. This is a really good game, and I mean, I was happy with it as it was originally, but they really outdid themselves with this patch. Particularly the first boss fight that I did. That was a nice challenge. That was something new and fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm actually really looking forward to doing the capital mission again, because I know that was a pretty special one too. And I'm curious if they've changed the way that it works now that there are other boss fights. But I have no intention of rushing the capital. I just wanted to say that I have some things that are going to be surprising for me, and I'm looking forward to trying them. So the plans for the rest of the week, I am hoping to, I would, if I can, I would like to get back to proper, 7 o'clock start times, and, just being consistent with that. The fact of the matter is that I am definitely very busy at work. It is a good kind of busy. I am happy to be where I am, but I am still trying to make all of the times work. Now, I am trying to find somebody to host, and I'm running out of options here, so let's just see what I can find here. Maybe Industries of Titan? How about... Okay, let's take a quick look here. Okay, looks like we've got somebody who's trying Cultist Simulator for the first time, so what I will do is I'll raid them. There's no Phantom Brigade, sadly, so... Now, as always, I hate to say this, but I never really know what I'm signing everyone up for. So I don't know who the streamer is, but it looks like they're doing Cultist Simulator for the first time, and I figured that's not a bad one to show a little support for. So I will leave you in hopefully their capable hands. Again, Friday, I'm hoping to start on time. I'm still working on that. We will be back to Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Monday, I should be finishing the... excuse me. The Old World Philip of Macedon scenario, and then next Wednesday, next week, we'll be back to Phantom Brigade with some boss fights. Again, thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to get some sleep. Enjoy some Cultist Simulator, Have a good night. And thank you for hanging out, Ellen Ripley. It's always a pleasure to have you in here.